Right, what's going on, guys? So we're back with another car feature video, and today we have one of Andy's cars again. So if you guys remember a few weeks ago, we did a video on his sweet SR20 swapped Datsun 1600, and yeah, today we've got his KE20. Hey Mike.
Hello mate.
As always, we have beers. My beer's here.
How you going? Welcome to my 1971 K20 Toyota Corolla. Wow, where do you start? I guess we have to wind back to 1997 when Biggie and Tupac were fighting each other, and basically Spice Girls were on top of the world, and all I was worried about was finding a K20 and giving Jerry Halliwell the 5-knuckle shuffle. But basically, not that you guys would know these days, Facebook Marketplace wasn't around, but the only way you could find a car back then was the buy, sell and exchange. One fateful morning, waking up at about 5:45 in the morning, going down to the dairy and getting the buy, sell, and ringing, there she was in the ads, and sitting in Kaipoi, $180, brand new Ridge and brand new warrant. Come with a spare K20, but I had to get rid of it within the next day, but back then I had no way, so I basically stripped all the parts off the other one I could.
A KE20 with the spare car for $180. $180.
Yeah, those were the days.
Can you imagine if we were able to find stuff?
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Like
I
that.
I do remember we used to do the same thing. Like you buy sell on the weekend and do the same thing.
No
Yeah.
cell phones. You had to go home, sit there, and ring on the phone.
Yeah.
No, they're not answering. 10 minutes later, try again. That was life basically back then.
We looked at a R32 Skyline that had a GTR motor in it. Had no windscreen in it.
Yeah.
He still took us for a test drive around the block. So we're just
The days. So we got that, and then I got it home, and I just drove around bog standard. She was poo brown. It just had a wee crash in the front. She'd hit 2 Great Danes apparently. I was living in Geraldine Street in town, and it actually got pinched.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a real bitch to start when I first got it with the old 3KB motor, but I used to always leave the choke out, and if you could start up, but you had to put the choke straight back in, otherwise it'd flood. Obviously the people didn't know that, so they jumped in it and they made it about 400 metres down the road, and waking up in the morning, it's gone. Looked down the road and there it was, so that was good. So yeah, never left it out in the road again. Yeah, after that just started looking for, try and find a motor and things. Unfortunately my mate Jeremy Beeden had a bit of unfortunate, someone 5-finger discounted his house, and he needed some money at the time, and he was actually building that motor for his SR Coupe. I've been the opportunist I am. I had the money and got this, he'd been building this, well, I don't know, hot wee little motor, and he was working for ERS, Engine Reconditioning Specialist at the time. So yeah, he was like toying it as like twin chain, double valve springs, recurved ignition, and it had some Solex carbs and everything on it. So yeah, I ended up with that and put a wee 4-speed behind it. So basically it was like poo brown, and luckily enough he'd had a couple of SRs, so he had a full front clip, guards, bonnet, grille. So that's basically how she ended up with a SR front end on it. So thank you, Jeremy, and the man.
So this is a 4K, and but you're saying it's been bought out. It's got like it's a bit of a Frankenstein build.
Yeah. So I think he bought it out to about. Hey Sam.
You're still going on camera.
Just getting ramen. Yeah, she's bought out to I think 1520cc with Mazda turbo pistons, the slant front first pistons and that. I don't know what else Jeremy did. I'd have to actually ask him. It was that long ago, like literally. But then it was basically time to start doing it up. So she got the lowering job and flares, and back then some nice brand new Chevy hot wires. You could actually buy them brand new back then, and some Eagers, and yeah, ended up taking it in the first.
You mean Edgars?
Wow, Eagers.
Oh, you wouldn't have seen that.
No.
I was like, what was he saying? Oh, you were saying, I was saying how like it was kind of slippery because of the tyres. And he's like, oh, it's because of the Edgars. And I was like, where's the D on the tyre?
Hey, real men smoke Eagers. So we ended up taking it in the first burnout comp that was at Ronnie Moore Stadium that were back in maybe, I think it was 2001. Yeah, I had a bit of a play on it and Chuck locked it in, and actually got to know the car a wee bit. Yeah, I think we got it back and did a wee bit more work on it, and then it was in the 2002, geez, we're going back still, yeah, Forum Rotors, we took it in the drags. I don't know if anyone remembers from back then, but yeah, and even raced a guy named Ketzel Sterling with from High Octane in it. Yeah, he was running his MR2 at the time, and both ran a 15-1. that day. I was still getting the grips with the car, and his MR2 was just poos. After that foreign rotors, it was like time to we might as well tidy it up, make it look a bit better. And a guy from Raxworthy, I can't actually remember his name. He was brother-in-law to a mate of mine. He actually panel beated it. He was fantastic. I got a good word on that. So yeah, he did his bit, and obviously you can see how good it came up. And then my uncle was working at Glazer at the time, and went in there, and he's just like, look at all these new pearls and this and that, and we were like, I started dabbling a wee bit here and there, and yeah, just sort of come out with this hue that it is now. Power Shelly, or I don't know what you call it.
What were you saying the under the dash was like before you started messing with the pearl or something?
Yeah, just in here, the silver, excuse, yeah, the silver just in here is actually the base.
Oh, so just like over here.
Yeah. So basically we painted it looked like chrome at first. It was a bit extreme, but yeah, no, and then finally got that on, and then it got shipped off to a mate Mark Bryce's house. It was Auto Spark at the time, so it got a full rewire, dabbled away, just getting it going and making sure it was all going to run real nice again. My favourite bit about the old 71 was the box rear lights instead of the elongated ones of the 72s and 73s and that. It just looks like it's got a bit of a boxy bum, bit of a snack bum on it, you know. Yeah, so I don't know, everyone each to their own, personal preference, but this was always the one that I loved the most. I don't know why, it even makes the back window look real big in them,
I'm glad you kept the badge on there. I like debadging, but that's a cool badge.
That was another bit at the time. Everyone was about debadging, and because a lot of people will point this out. Why have I done this? So when we panel beated the car, and I didn't even notice myself, we got to it, we painted it blue, and then we were standing there after the first coat of blue went on it, and we're like, "That's a hole." We'd forgot to weld up one of the badge holes. And I was just, at the time, I had no badges, I couldn't even find any, and I think Butler Automart was selling these numbers for like $2, and I was like, it fixes my problem. But
it suits it, especially the era that it was made.
It's one of them that just sort of stayed with it. We've got lots of wee things like genuine Solex locks that actually work, so there's something that
another thing is when I put gas in it, you were like, where's the gas flat? Yeah.
You've got it. There's just quirky little things, like this is character building basically. The old, I don't know, many people know that about the old KE20s, but yeah, a lot of character, Yeah. It's very cool. Yeah, inside, just after we got it painted and that, I had a place down by Sockburn Roundabout. I don't even know if it's still around now. I couldn't find any door cards or anything, so I got
just got to quickly point out, of course.
Hey, it's the Woodstock kid here, mate. All right. Yeah, so I just they were like, what do you want? And I'm like, I basically just drew with a pencil a wiggle through the car, and I'm like, that'll do, just do it two-tone, do the dash that, and then we did the back panel and they recovered the back. Oh shit, that would have only been like $300 back then as well. So yeah, the era when things were cheap.
I think $700 just for my rear seat. Similar, looks the same as that too, right? Yeah. The same material.
And then the old front seats from Auto Passion, from anyone remembers Basil from back in the day. But JMX bucket seats, they were the rage. Yeah. Even though I threw away my perfectly fine factory seats, which I wish I had now. And then of course my Momo steering wheel that I flew to Australia to buy that. I got that. They didn't sell them in New Zealand. And of course we've got Autometer shift light integrated in. Like this is
straight fast and furious.
You could have put this in Auto Salon.
Because when you built this thing, this was like around the era when the first Fast and the Furious came out.
Literally about 2 years after Fast and the Furious, this was back on the road like this. Yep. So yeah, that was everyone at the time. We were sort of like, that's what drove us and all the rest of it to do what we did with our vehicles and that, and obviously in a bad way. But I'm glad, with the smoothed over bumpers that everyone started doing, and I just stayed true to it all. Actually retained the 71 badge, that's actually off the original, like the 71 front. It's not the SR Coupe one, and that's to sort of integrate the two there. She's not as pretty as she used to be, but this is what nearly 20 years of abuse gets you. Basically after we got it going, I ditched the Solexes. They were good, but just weren't. Everyone said dual autos were the way to go, so we put them on, and I tell you what, never looked back. The sound is outrageous. Over time, radiator gave way, so EK Civic, real easy mod, especially these days, real cheap, recurved ignition, MSD Blaster 2, and this man here, if anyone knows him, he races a Mini in that round, he was like the older boy to me back in the day when we were doing the stuff up, who just had all that wee bit of knowledge, and he could weld, cut gears and everything else, so every little bit that I needed made, like all this, he made all the little funky, just to tidy it up, just add that wee bit of character and everything to it. Yeah, and the old, anyone knows about the twin pots, the old Datsun brake cylinders and things. So everything's, and how cool the bonnet stays and that. Like, how good is that? They just don't make things like they used to. Like, very cool.
You were saying that it's got stock diff, and it's locked. Well,
Yeah.
stock axles and the diff's locked, so there.
Yeah. So basically,
bit dicey.
factory rear end, just locked diff. Brad, great welding there. And
Still going.
yeah, and the fronts, I've got 2 sets of springs I run at the moment because the Eagers are quite wide. I'm running these. They're basically both a cut, the shortened shocks and that. But these springs suit the Eagers and that, and then the other ones.
Right, so we just potentially got a little interrupted there by neighbour's house potentially on fire, so that could get interesting.
The roof is on fire. Fuck, I hope it doesn't burn down.
So stay tuned. This video may turn into my neighbour's house got burnt down.
Two sets of springs.
Yeah, I've got 2 sets of springs. I've got 15x8s which I run on it, which will maybe chuck a couple of photos. See, I updated a wee bit, just the Eagers are around town sort of wheel, and yeah, just when I go up to Nelson or the coast and that, got some 15x8s that I run on it with a bit better rubber in that, and you can drive the pants off it. That's fantastic. But yeah, and just factory brakes, which I just re-kitted everything and put it in. I tell you what, it stops at the, like, you couldn't get any better, I don't reckon. Like, don't need to over-engineer anything. And the motor itself, 101 horsepower at Harman dyno.
101 horsepower. So 101 horsepower to most of you will be like, oh fuck, that's nothing. But in a car that literally weighs nothing.
Well, yeah, I think we're guesstimating it's about 820 kg.
Yeah.
We'll get it weighed and we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. Like me and Mike took this out on the weekend to get the B-roll and stuff, and this is quite.
Yeah, like to put it in perspective, like mine's had a fair bit of work done. Like the block's not, it's just rebuilt. It's not bored or anything. But mine made like 87 at the wheels.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get.
Which
It's still a lot.
yeah, it's still it's
out of
double
time.
than what I made factory, but every little bit helps. And you having 101, you can feel it.
Oh yeah, just that punchiness and everything. A couple more things. I got like the old genuine SR Coupe centre console just going up there. I did had a look at me more dials in there. I did the white clusters, a bit of a home handyman thing I did myself.
Yeah. How did this come about? Because this is definitely a bit unique.
Yeah, the old silly spray on there, basically when vinyl first come out and I knew nothing about stickering, I basically glued it on with with glue, thinking that's how it all worked, and I actually made a mirror of it, so had to basically put that silly spray on it to save face basically. Yeah.
How does it actually work?
It basically looks like silly string coming out of a can, and just spray it on and just melts on till,
So did you take all the panels out and stuff to do it, or?
Yeah, oh yeah, wouldn't do it in the car. Jeez, I'm not that rough.
Mate, come on, mate. What about the handbrake install?
Yeah, and even like little bits, like over time, like I did do like the kick panels and that were all buggered from factory, so I had to make them up out of stainless and everything, and. Oh, Tilly, that's at least a 2 out of 10. Well done.
Slow mo coming
Well
out.
done. But yeah, it's not over the top, but yeah, I try to keep it quite very correct at the time, and yeah, this is basically what you would build back in the early 2000s.
Cool seeing one that's still like this and not like fucked, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Hey, it's a testament of like, shit, would have built it 20 odd years ago now, and it still looks like this, you know?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, this thing has been to Nelson, it's been to Greymouth, I've taken it in Grass Carnas, I won the Canterbury Car Club Grass Carna one year.
Wait, what year did you say that you brought this?
1997. Were you born?
He's owned this car longer than I've been alive.
Yep.
I'll chuck a link to Andy's Instagram in the description below, so go check him out. We've got a few more cars that we're going to be doing of his. The next one.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah.
This is what we're putting some solid hours into the next one.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, that'll be it for this one, guys. Cheers for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Hooroo!
Come on, you're next.
Oh.
Oh, mine's kind of useless.
Come on. Alright, see you later, guys.